think I'm just going to leave the microphone down here. I think it's a small enough room where you can all hear me. Well, good morning, everyone, and happy Military Appreciation Month. It's an honor to stand here alongside so many leaders who care so much about veterans, especially as we celebrate this important milestone, the 100th hire for Amazon. We're grateful for Amazon's commitment to our veterans and their families, because this right here doesn't just stand for an achievement in numbers, but in values. And we have partners like Amazon, Massachusetts Fallen Heroes, or VSOs in the room. When we're supporting each other, that's when we're at our best. And so I want to thank you for all being here today. But today symbolizes much more than that. As everyone here knows, veterans bring a tremendous amount of skill, experience, perspective that significantly enhances our workforce. Today is about recognizing all of our collective effort across the entire state, whether in the public or private sector, to not just employ veterans, but to make sure they're thriving. When I sworn as secretary just over a year ago, I was shocked to find out that our office wasn't very active in the employment or education space. Ask any veteran who wraps up their service what they need, and I guarantee you the first two things they're going to say at the top of their list is a job and an education opportunity. And as a veteran who knows how difficult the transition can be, the fact that our office had little to no services in this space was quite concerning. And that's why I'm proud that within a year we established the Veterans Education, Employment, and Training Office known as VEET. The goal of VEET is to partner with like-minded organizations to connect our veterans with the employment and educational opportunities they deserve. And believe me when I say our VEET office has hit the ground running, starting with several initiatives we'll be launching today. First, the Veteran Ready Business Program. Now imagine a business out there who wants to hire veterans for the skills they bring, the values they stand for, but don't have an established veteran pipeline, or maybe they simply want to better understand the military culture. Now imagine an opportunity where state government, us in this case, is reaching out to employers, offering them an opportunity to learn more about veterans and certifying them as veteran-friendly businesses. That's the Veteran Ready Business Program. Modeled after a successful program in Virginia, the Veteran Ready Business Program aims to educate employers on the advantages of hiring veterans, offering certification to businesses that are committed to veterans, and the best part, it just takes 3 easy steps, which you can find out on our webpage starting today. And that's not all that the VEET office has been up to. Working alongside the VA and others, we took over and expanded our Vets Care program. The employment program is one that helps veterans with PTSD and those suffering from MST to not only find a job, but pairs them with integrated mental health services. Now these are some of the most vulnerable veterans you'll ever find, and over the course of this past year we've been able to expand our programming and expand eligibility. And while we've been busy building out the Veteran Ready Business Programs, scaling up Vets Cares, partnering with the trades to better increase our opportunities in that area, we've also been busy on the education front. This year we hosted the first ever Veterans Education Conference, and today we're standing up a Massachusetts Student Veteran Council. And this work has not been done and can't be done in a silo. We need partners. That's why I'm proud to stand by others who feel just as passionate about hiring veterans, like Amazon, the U.S. Department of Labor, our VSOs, and my cabinet colleague, Secretary Jones. It's been an honor to partner with Secretary Jones this year to strengthen our efforts to employ veterans. Her office's commitment to workforce development is unparalleled. I'm glad to be joining her today to share just a little bit about what we've been up to this past year in terms of supporting our veterans and making sure they get the jobs that they deserve. Secretary Jones.
Well, I'm going to use the microphone. I certainly appreciate the opportunity to be here today to celebrate this huge milestone that Amazon is choosing to celebrate, rightfully so, right here where the 100,000 veteran has been hired, but also to demonstrate your leadership nationally right here in Massachusetts. And I'm even more excited to be able to do this alongside my colleague, Secretary Santiago. As Secretary Santiago shared, we've been teaming up together. And I think it's a great thing. It's a win-win for our workforce and certainly our veterans here in Massachusetts. Secretary Santiago was sworn in a couple months after I was, and we grabbed a coffee early on. And he was so excited, jazzed up about how we can team up together to support workforce efforts. And I was like, we have some resources from the U.S. Department of Labor. We've got some great team members that are in our Mass Hire career centers. Let's team up to make sure that we're breaking down these government silos, and I feel like we got a dynamic team that's doing just that. So I want to give a shout out. I've got Sasha Stoddard from our Mass Hire Department of Career Services. We've got Chris Mills here as well. This is just an example of how our Executive Office of Labor and Workforce Development is teaming up with the field of Mass Hire career services, career centers, but especially our veteran service officers and the ideas that are now becoming fruition thanks to Secretary Santiago's leadership and the ongoing work that we continue to push through. Because at the end of the day, when we think about Massachusetts' workforce, we really have to take a step back. What's really going to make Massachusetts competitive, and how can we play a role in doing so? The governor always talks about driving economic competitiveness. And at the end of the day, at the heart of that needs to be our people. It's our talent. It's the people that are in this room, our veterans who have been hired by Amazon, and hopefully the many other companies that are choosing to be business friendly here in Massachusetts. It's also the people that haven't figured out their next shot yet. They may not realize their potential. For veterans, they may just be returning from service and trying to navigate the resources. And so we want to make sure that we have people first in mind, and that's embedded in Governor Healy, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, our administration strategy for really lifting up more workforce opportunities and making sure that we're paving a path that's accessible and easy for veterans, spouses, and in our entire network of people that make up our communities, because that's going to elevate our competitiveness. It's going to elevate the businesses like Amazon thriving right here in Massachusetts and making sure that we're able to untap the next wave of amazing talent that we know we deserve to have right here in Massachusetts. I often talk about the tools in our toolbox, and I started to think about what those tools look like as we look to serve the veteran population here in Massachusetts. When we look back in fiscal year 23, we managed to serve 3,500 veterans in Massachusetts, and of those veterans, about 1,000 of them face significant barriers to employment, which is exactly why it's so important for our office to team up with the experts that Secretary Santiago works with on a day-to-day basis, leverage the resources that we receive through the U.S. Department of Labor. We have a disabled veterans outreach program thanks to federal funding. We've got the network of our career centers on the ground, that front door that can be a complement to the veteran service officers that are represented here in communities across the state. We realize that the toolbox that we have for LWD, the Executive Office of Labor and Workforce Development, needs to be the toolbox that our veterans teams has, as well as the toolbox for employers to be able to tap into to hire your future talent. So I'm thrilled that we're working creatively to really deliver that team approach that Governor Healy and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll often speak about. It's demonstrated by the teamwork that we have in partnership with Veteran Services. It's also demonstrated by the amazing partnership with Amazon, being a team member right here in Massachusetts, but opening their doors to so many amazing veterans and our workforce right here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Secretary Jones, Secretary Santiago. It is truly a